David Bennett.
The first Labor speech there, you would think that the Labor Party was actually a party in favour of trade. And the second speaker there from the Labor Party, you actually would have thought for the first 8 minutes that he also is in favour of trade. And I respect the past history of Mr Goff, but the last 2 minutes of his speech were just rubbish. Mr Goff negotiated the free trade agreement with China. And when that member negotiated the free trade agreement with China, did that member put a rule in there saying that Chinese can't buy property in New Zealand? Did he put that in there? Did he do that? Is there a rule stopping Chinese purchases in New Zealand? Chinese purchasers can purchase in New Zealand, can't they, Mr Goff? A Chinese national can purchase in New Zealand, can't they? That is the truth of the matter. That is what is in the, that is allowed under the Chinese Free Trade Agreement. There is the ability for a Chinese resident to purchase in New Zealand. And yet, when they do a South Korean agreement, they want to have a different rule. They want to make sure that no, it's not. It's not actually. Because, no, it's not. The reality is, no, Mr Goff, a Chinese resident can purchase in New Zealand, and you're saying that a South Korean resident shouldn't be able to purchase in New Zealand. That's what he's saying in this House tonight. That's what Mr Goff is saying here. And it goes back to the Labor Party around free trade, because the Labor Party doesn't know where it stands on free trade. Coming into this House and supporting this free trade agreement, voting for this free trade agreement, and looking at the opposition parties that are against it and tearing strips off them. But the reality is, do they support TPP? No, they don't. The Labor Party do not support the Trans-Pacific Partnership Agreement.
Order. We're now 2 minutes into the member's speech. I think it's fair to say that he has been attacking members in a way which, if they'd taken a point of order, they would have had some support. The member will, first of all, stop shaking his head like that. And secondly, he will address the bill.
Well, the bill is the trade agreement with Korea, and a big part of that trade agreement is looking at where the political parties stand. And the Labor Party has said that they're voting for this bill, and they've mentioned in their speeches the TPPA as well. And now there are speeches that they have that have come from the Labor Party. But the Labor Party will not support free trade in general. They will not support it. And that is the problem in the Labor Party at the moment, because on one side of the Labor Party, we have people like Mr Goff and Mr Parker that came here and spoke about free trade. And they said that it was a good thing. But then you've got Mr Little, who is there only because of the unions. He was not voted in by his members.
Order. The member will resume his seat. The member will now address the bill. There's nothing in this bill in the area that he's currently speaking on. If I have to interrupt him again, his speech will be terminated.
Well, the members over there want to know what the bill is about. Well, it's about free trade. Look at New Zealand First and the Green Party. They're against this bill. The most bigoted party in this House is against this bill because they don't believe that New Zealanders should have free trade agreements. The New Zealand First Party does not believe in free trade.
Point of order, Chris Hipkins.
Mr Speaker, I appreciate the comments weren't directed at this particular party, but I'm pretty sure it is unparliamentary to refer to a member or parties or collective group of members as bigoted.
Speaking to the point of order, Richard Prosser.
I appreciate the comments from the Labor Senior Whip, Mr Speaker. I did hear the term, and if it's necessary to note an offence on behalf of the House, we'll do that, but in actual fact my colleague and myself did not regard the member's opinion as being worthy of taking offence.
Well, I think the first thing we'll have is that Mr Prosser will withdraw the comment, his last comment.
I withdraw, Mr Speaker.
And Mr Bennett will withdraw and apologise.
I withdraw and apologise. But the New Zealand First Party goes around New Zealand.
Order. The member will now resume his seat. The member's speech is terminated. The member knows that he does not say but after a withdrawn apology. Russell Norman. Dr Russell Norman. Point of order, David Bennett.
I never used the words but after. I started with the next part of my speech, so I request the Speaker to reflect on that.
The member will now resume his seat. Dr. Russell Norman. If I'm warning the member, if he is going to dispute the ruling that I've made, terminating his speech after 2 warnings and I think a deliberate contravention and continuation of something which I had indicated that he was to stop. If he does it again, then his speech will not only be terminated, but so will his presence. Dr. Russell Norman.